And welcome, everyone. Welcome, Wayward Gamers, the Emporium. I am Jay, also known as NeoFed3 on the socials. We are here for the Legends of the Natural Ones, our Pathfinder 2E game. We are excited to be back for episode 5. And yes,
it's already episode 5. Wow,
episode
that's
5,
insane.
season 3, episode 5. Yeah, so we're going
time goes so much faster when Jeff is around.
Oh, that must be it.
It's
Are you
magic.
saying that Talico and Robo
No.
I love them both. However, it's the old crew. It's like,
yeah, it's the old crew.
the original bunch.
So we're gonna go around, introduce our characters again. We're gonna do a really quick recap, and then we're gonna dive right into the next day after
the aftermath
of excitement. Carrie,
The aftermath is the answer after the equal sign.
Yes, that's math for you. I'm Carrie, and we're here playing Legends of the Natural Ones, man. I'm super happy to be here. And I'm playing Brynn today. And Brynn has seen some stuff and getting ready to, clean up after this fight on this ship.
Yep. Yeah. That's all I can say right now because the recap is just going to be
haven't done the recap yet.
Jeff, how are you doing, sir? Welcome back.
I am grand. I am caffeinated. Things are going well. Hey gang, I'm Jeff, and I, as always, am playing Aviro Starborn, our elf wizard slash youngin. He's just a
Youngin.
ball of energy, that kid.
A youngin, so to speak. Nice.
Actually, he's actually the oldest of all the characters, but
He's the oldest of all the characters, but not
yeah,
in overall lifespan comparative to the race. He's still a child. But yes, he's been around longer than anyone.
Excellent to have you, Jeff. Jim, how are you doing, sir? Long time no see.
yes, I know. Yes, this is our first episode back after Gary Con, and Jay and I got to spend a lot of time together, so that was fun. So yeah, I'm Jim Hawkmere1 on Twitter, playing everyone's favorite grumpy dad dwarf, Glastoc Steelcloak. So
Yes, grumpy dad, but always good when it comes to the realization of like practical with the group, which is good. Which basically some of you are like, Wayne, wait a minute. Gary Con was a while ago. Yes, we are doing pre-recordings, and we are doing pre-recordings of Pathfinder 2E, second edition. And some of you are wondering, wasn't this what like D&D 5E, and was it the name change? Yes, we did all that. So if you're joining us in the mid, check out the beginning of season 3, and that explains a lot of what's been happening. But where we pick up in the recap, but you know what? The one thing I forgot to do in the before the recap is thank our wonderful affiliates of Talon and Claw and Smuggler's Coffee. We are so happy that we are friends with them, and they are friends of ours. That we want to make
Smuggler's
sure
Coffee is now officially Captain Shaw approved.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
It is Captain Shaw approved. We want to thank them for being collaborations and just generally wonderful people. And so in chat, the support of Coffee and Talon Claw are there. And if you go to Talon and Claw and put in Dragon Daddy, you will get 10% off on any other wonderful dice vaults and DM screens, and a lot more stuff coming down the pipeline at that point. But
what are the
out.
names of Smuggler's coffees?
Oh,
What are
there's
some of the kinds?
Starfuel, Buy This Coffee,
+1 caffeinated,
+1 charisma,
yeah, +1 charisma,
2 caffeination.
and
hold on, I actually have a bag here. Hold on.
And Star Fuel Blend, which is the Shadowport Adventures Emporium for the Wayward Gamers collaboration.
Find out
Nice.
at www.smugglerscoffee.com.
It's vanishing. You just it's okay. Wonderful. Thank you. I was curious if they're different kinds.
And we recently were at Gary Con, and it had a great time just having a lot of fun and just being together, and the community of people in those areas are just wonderful. So we're very, very happy to expand. Now, with that being said, recap. The crew of the Legends of the Natural Ones decided to take Lido, our fake Lando of Fantasy Realm,
Sorry.
from Schmaltmarsh, formerly known as Saltmarsh.
That's gonna make Carrie laugh every single time you say fake Lando.
I love it.
It's
so funny.
You christened his name of fake Lando.
I did.
So
well, you were describing Billy D. Williams, so I was like, "Is this Lando Calrissian?"
I mean, it's probably the best improv on the spot NPC creation this game has produced, and I can't by any means. I always have to do it.
Love it. Thank you.
So you took a job for him that he actually was one of those like, hey, I do a favor, you do me a favor, and you're on a ship protecting it. And after you left Schmaltmarsh, and you're on your way to Magnamar, you realize quickly that the guests that you are protecting are not typical guests. Some of them are a little bit more unusual, because this is Dusk Till Dawn. This is a monster transport ship, and there's quite a few monsters here. Aviro has come to the realization. Brynn has come to the realization, and Glastoc is like, what the fuck did you just get me into? And as the course is going, and there's the one rule. No one breaks the one rule. You do not eat, combat, aggressively hurt anybody on the ship. That's the one rule, because there's a network of these ships. And if you break that rule, you're blacklisted and you can never use the network of ships again. And you're also thrown overboard and killed potentially. So
it's like John Wick.
Oh,
yeah, you don't break the rules. So with that being said, that's pretty much kept Aviro not jumping overboard, but just, at least a little bit of that sanity, in which Aviro created a contract in the first encounter to make sure that that is in place. Everything was going smoothly until the Sea Devil Sahagin invaded, or basically stormed the ship that night. Boarded the ship, and combat ensued. And after several rainy combats and repelling the boarders, there was a few encounters. Brynn ran into the mess hall to find Vlad, the now you've established vampire prince, sitting there chomping on the neck and pulling out the Sahagins, dead Sahagin. Whole bunch are littered in the room. It appears some were fighting each other while he was dispatching other ones. And as Brynn ran in, he pulls up and just smiles as the blood's dripping down, going, "Food is always more fresh, or always better when it's fresh, don't you think?" At which point, Brynn just simply
dab.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. That
shut the door, walked out of the room,
and had that encounter of fully understanding what this person was, or this creature is. There was some combat down below that was the alchemist had to deal with, and the crew members and the first mates had to deal with. So overall, the battle is done. After a few hours of cleaning up and organizing, you've realized that they've lost 5 more crew members and some injuries, and the quartermaster is also missing and gone. Based off of, it was probably that a scouting crew came aboard, dispatched some things, and then the whole boarding party came. So the night goes without incident. Glastoc, I believe you were spending that night just to making sure everything was good.
Mm-hmm.
And the morning comes, and the sun rises in the distance, and it's still a little cloudy, but not as rainy, anymore. And you still have about 4 or 5 days before you get to Magnamar. And then the morning of day 4 is a little bit more somber. Breakfast dawn comes. What would you like to do?
Didn't Brynn help out as a crew member? And she volunteered a little bit.
Yeah,
because we lost some, so I was gonna help.
I thought you were gonna do that during the day.
It's not during the day now?
No, so it's at morning. So yeah. So the morning.
Okay.
So
it's the morning.
So then you start, so you get up early and you're starting to help organize. Were you gonna have this is like breakfast time?
Yeah, I'm gonna go down
first and then, or are you gonna just work? Okay.
A very light breakfast. I would specifically ask if they have any smuggler's coffee. Because I need a boost to start my day.
Yes,
and
the chef, the half-orc chef, has a nice pot of smuggler's coffee brewing.
Terrific. They never have this brand anywhere, and it's my favorite. And Brynn would hook herself up with a cup and maybe have. She would have a lighter breakfast than most days, and then she would head back up outside and help.
Aviro has just gotten off of the rest of his night shift, so he is grabbing his breakfast and heading to bed.
Yeah, he's gonna go straight to bed.
Yeah.
Avoiding the hot
hag.
lady. The hot lady.
The hot lady. There is another madam.
The not actually hot lady.
Are you sure?
The hag. That's just
hag.
Call her what it is, Josh.
Well, Brynn told Aviro.
Yeah.
And
sure did.
He is avoiding her even more than he was before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Of course he is.
This very gorgeous, very, very put together, black-haired female, just red lips, of just very elegant wear, does come in for breakfast, kind of talks to the captain a little bit, does a small breakfast, not too big. she kind of is looking around, but doesn't see Aviro because their paths did not cross.
He may have cast invisibility on himself if he saw her.
I'm gonna say yes. As you were coming down, she was going up.
Perfect. Amazing.
And you kind of hid in the corner, and I want to say she took like 5 steps past you, and then she kind of stopped for a second, looks back,
Smells you,
and then just keeps walking.
She smells the food I'm holding.
Yeah.
She hears frantic invisible steps and
That's
running
pretty
away.
much what happens. And then your door kind of opens up real quick and shuts.
I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah. So the day, Brynn, you're working hard on the day. It's pretty much like I said. It's very low key. There's a little bit of a somberness in the on the ship because they're trying to there's a little bit more cleanup. They're trying to assess things of that nature, and it's going okay. But like I said, Leto's trying to bring up morale a little bit, and the first mate will have a conversation with Brynn and thank you for your efforts last night and making sure that the ship is safe. Makes a comment that Leto chose well to bring you aboard to make sure that everything was working well. So, but yeah, it was
nice.
It's been a while, but Brynn's had one of those days of like she's tired and exhausted from the combat and the lack of sleep because she only got a few hours of sleep. But then it's like Brynn gets re-energized of like working the ropes again and just being on that sailing ship. And there's like during the day, there's that one moment when you're just standing on the deck looking over the railing as it's cloudy, but you can feel that sea breeze just kind of in the water just hitting you a little bit, that mist of it as one of the ship kind of hits that water and it flies up a little bit and you're just getting that little bit of mist of that smell of that sea water, and it brings back those memories.
Love it.
Get the faint smell of Old Spice.
In the distance, you hear that.
But the day
it's called New Spice. It's called New Spice.
Yeah,
oh, that's right. Yeah.
New Spice.
yeah. Just
looks over and sees a person with a piccolo. He's like, I'm sorry.
Actually, one of the Leto's got this magic thing, and there's this little performance of Strider with a little
incredible
and kind of entertaining the crew. And then it turns into a centaur, and then the prostician moves, and it's just wow. He's doing this magical conjuring of like, yes,
it's a really impressive display. Very handsome.
And the first mate's just shaking his head of like, just like he's seen this so many times, and it's just wasted because he's doing it for the crew, but he realizes that it's just Leto's ego.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Of course.
Yep.
The day goes without incident. Sleeping, you get your good hours of sleep during the day, no problem. Brynn, you get a good day's work on the ship. You're feeling exhausted, but you're feeling, like I said, you're energized by it. You're feeling calm. Dinner's coming. You're awake for dinner. You get now. Here's the other entertainment. I need Glastoc and I need Aviro to make me Constitution or Fortitude saving throws, please.
31.
16.
31 and a 16. Okay. Both of you sleep well. You're exhausted. There is a little bit of noise, but not as loud as it has been for the last 3 days.
I've got my cloak of feline rest. I'm out.
You're out. There seems to have been a little bit of excitement like toward in the evening time, but it's pretty much mellowed during the day. So it's been pretty good. The married couple hasn't been as active as they have been for the last few days. But no, dinner kind of comes in. Is there anything you're dinner wise that you want to do? You go up at the appropriate time and things like that.
Well,
Late, early?
the
Yeah.
rotation, the shift rotation for guard duty overnight tonight is Aviro has first watch, Glastoc has second watch.
Okay.
Forgot about that. Yes.
Yeah.
And I get to sleep, which is good.
Okay.
So Aviro is going to take his dinner quickly and probably even maybe move out onto the deck to eat, just as to kind of sit and watch,
Okay.
and also to not be in the same room as that woman.
So does Aviro is Aviro going earlier or later? Like right at the right before dinner starts, like during.
He is the first person. He is the first person in line. He
Okay.
is like waiting for the door for that chef to open the door, and as soon as he does, he gathers his stuff and he heads out onto the deck and he kind of eats on the deck.
Okay. So as you're eating on the deck, the rest of you kind of come up for dinner. Everyone shows up. So everyone's there for dinner. The married couple are being googly again. They're feeding each other. Like they were like, oh, there was an incident. Okay, yes, okay, we're protected. Oh, lovely. You know,
Lovely.
you know, and it's like, oh, that's what we paid for. Wackily, awesome. And there's the Boo and Belle, the alchemist and her daughter, are there kind of quiet, smiling, and just kind of eating a little bit. It was like Boo smiles at the married couple a little bit, and the wife the wife bride just gives a little bit, but um the gentleman, or not the gentleman, the male is like, oh, peasants, why are you, oh dear, don't mingle your time with them. And she's all, oh, but she's so cute. Oh, no, come. So it kind of flaws them off a little bit, and there's a little bit of like, the mother to Boo is like, no, don't worry about them. And the first mate comes over, and Boo's all happy about getting a little bit of a treat for dinner, like a little dessert.
Does Boo still have that little ship that I made her?
Yes, she's holding on to
Sick.
that ship.
Awesome.
She's very,
Good.
very happy with that. At which point the gentleman, the Vod, the prince that you've come to realize nicely dropped, sits there with his drink of red liquid, and enjoys conversation. He's having the madam is also there. She comes up, she's looking around, and there's some nice brief conversations with individuals. Glastoc and Brynn, are you having any conversations with anyone, or are you just kind of keeping to yourselves?
I guess I would be talking to Glastoc.
Yeah. I don't think, and Barry can correct me, I don't think we're ever going to go out of our way to make conversation with any of the other guests, especially now that it's like 100%, like we know exactly what they are. And we're just going to, we've been hired to do a job. We're going to do our job.
Okay.
That's it.
I totally agree.
We're not going to avoid conversations if they come to us, but we're not going to go initiate.
Yeah. Correct. But especially now that, I agree with Jim. Now that specifically Brynn has a handle on like what everybody is. I don't need any more than that.
And and especially with Glastoc, again, because still feeling out what his new capabilities are and stuff, he inherently knows how dangerous he is to them. Because spoiler alert for those of you who don't know about Pathfinder, angelic spells do extra damage against undead.
Yes.
Don't miss.
Yeah.
And Glastoc, you're realizing that the vampire gentleman, I mean, we know what he isn't worried. He's almost entertained that Leto brought on an angelic.
Vampire lords don't have a whole lot to be afraid of, Jay.
Yeah.
That's very true.
He's not a lord. He's just a prince.
Vampire princes are certainly not afraid of 6th level
potato.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I mean,
like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it's just one of those like, he's entertained. Now, the one thing that will happen that evening is that the madam will approach your table in just this elegance, like, "Oh, thank you so much again. I understand there was um a disturbance last night. I stayed in my room and everything was. I thank you for your
Understand there was a
protection.
disturbance. All this yelling and screaming, and oh, there was a
Death and mayhem.
disturbance.
Yeah, there's a disturbance." And she's like, your companion, Aviro, I don't see him around. Is he all right?
I think he's just a little shy. I hope you understand. He's
He's on duty. He's out on duty.
Completely. Oh, please extend my invitation for conversation with him. I would love to hear more about where he comes from, his thoughts. He seems like a very book-learned individual.
He is. Yes, I will. I'll pass that along.
I'm curious if he's. I'm interested in what libraries he's been to. I've seen many and have great. And as the cat, this cat appears.
Oh, I haven't seen you before. Just jumps up on the Every boat has to have a good mouser on board.
There
or
is
several.
that definitely. And so she's just like calm and just extending like, and she's kind of she's trying to figuring out where like Avero's avoiding her. I wonder why. So she's kind of figuring out if he's just general that, or maybe there's something else. So.
Oh God, she's going to start to take offense. I need to handle this.
But she's very calm about like, but no worries. If he feels inclined and would like to, I'm always available for conversation whenever he would like. But I understand he might be busy. So no worries at all. It's always good to have conversations on long voyages. And she grabs a book and just goes back to finishing. This is on her way down to her room towards the end of dinner and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Brynn, as you're sitting there, as you're kind of looking around, you catch, as you look over, that sinking feeling, because during dinner, you're like, that the memories of what happened here last night, you're kind of looking around, and as you look over at the gentleman, he kind of looks back at you and gives you this nice smile, a little warm of like, and just.
So that brings up a question, Jay. Is there actual like signs in the room that what happened? Like, is there?
We cleaned it up.
I mean, the blood and stuff I could see, but like, broken furniture.
There is a piece.
If there are marks from weapons.
There is a few marks, yeah. So there is a few. Like there's like one broken chair.
Well, obviously, somebody doesn't know mending.
Somebody needs to get their shit together.
That's a deep cut. There's a deep cut.
It's also a different kind of spell in this world.
No,
yeah.
Yes.
That's funny. That's funny.
Because I don't think I know mending.
Go back to season 1.
Well done.
So yeah, I mean, there's some visible signs of like a few hash marks, but I mean, the ship in general is, that there's probably going to be, once they get to dock, it's all going to get nicely sanded down again.
Of course, yeah,
stuff like that, and replaced. But, there's a few signs, but it's basically kind of covered up a little bit to make sure that it's not too too noticeable. But the thing, like I said, so the gentleman kind of goes to Brynn and gives you that little come join, and like motions to the chair.
I would lean to Glastoc and I'd be like, well, I am being summoned. I am going to go over there. If I don't come back in 20 minutes, rescue me. And I would like grab what's left of my drink and go over and sit with the hot vampire man.
And he stands up, goes around and pulls the chair out for you.
Of course he does.
What a gentleman.
Well, he's a
prince. Okay, what a prince. Anyway, so I would like nod and thank him semi awkwardly. Obviously, Brynn is not used to this treatment, and she would sit and she would join
And
in.
he kind of pushes down. He sits down, and he's like, "Your good evening. How are you doing, Miss Brynn? Miss Braun,
Oh,
rather.
yes,
Miss is
great.
it correct?
Yes, it is. Doing wonderfully. Thank you. Worked hard today and gonna sleep well tonight, I'm sure.
Ah, yes. I wanted to thank you again for your team, your group services. I know Lido hired you to provide security for our voyage, but I want to say you've done an excellent job. I'm quite impressed. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. We, were like you said, we were hired and we like to do a good job. Anything worth doing is worth doing right. Right?
Ah, but of course, yes. I just wanted to make sure that you're comfortable. Everything's good with you. I know the last evening's incident, or what's a better confrontation, incident, dinner, some might say, went may have troubled you a little bit. I just wanted to make sure that you're feeling fine.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes. No, it's all of course. Yes. No, of course. Everything's fine. Everything I've never been more comfortable in my life.
Excellent. Yes. I know that, sometimes you know what you were getting yourself into well before seeing the displays of my charm last night.
Okay, so now I know for sure that we're both talking about the same. When he says the incident, he doesn't just mean the boarding, he means what I fucking saw.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I would kind of like look back at him and I'd be like, well, I'm sure you know Lido. He is not a man who offers up details unless he is specifically asked. So I imagine it was a bit of a surprise for us to discover what everybody here is.
And you seem to be
Side note,
handling
Brynn
it.
is also semi in the sauce.
Yes.
So
But your team seems to be, your group seems to be handling it mostly quite well. Um, I, I'm entertained the selection that you have, so I have no doubt that he had something, some mutual payment or something like that. But I'm, what is your group's name? I understand is called the Natural Ones.
the natural ones.
Excellent.
The emphasis is on the natural.
Yes, definitely. Like I said, I'm intrigued by your group. You have a very interesting dichotomy in your ranks. Have you been
Mm.
together for long?
Yes, we've been together for a long time now.
Adventurers for the guild, I am assuming as well.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. Do you have a particular path of missions or quests or jobs that you do? Do you do this type of work all the time, or
Well,
is there a specialty that your group has?
we're always finding paths, but yes, we tend to take jobs and, get paid and then move on to the next job and get
Hey,
paid for that one and
hey, Jay.
Yes.
wherever the wind takes
So
us.
I'm assuming that where we were sitting, since Bryn could see
Mm.
him, Glastoc would have had his back to him if Bryn and Glastoc were sitting opposite.
Possibly. I mean,
So-
you could have been probably right next to each other. So
Okay.
all you need to do is turn your head to the left a little bit.
Okay. So, and I'm assuming Glastoc can hear some of the conversation, if not all of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, it's a larger room, and they're not talking
Right.
softly, but
So Glastoc's going to get up and he's going to walk towards the table and he's going to walk up and put his hand on Bryn's shoulder and look at the vampire and say, "Excuse me," and
oh,
say to Bryn, "I'm going to go check on Aviro," and then he's just going to leave.
Mm-hmm. And
Thank
I
you.
would, as Glastoc is leaving, I would turn and I would say, "Would you tell him to maybe make himself a little bit more social?" And I would nod over at the hot lady.
And Glastoc will give Bryn a wink and
and before Glastoc leaves, Glastoc, is it? Thank you again for your services last night of protecting the ship. It was remarkable. My heart felt. Thank you.
And Glastoc will give a little bow and say, "Well, it's what we were hired for, and it's what we're getting paid to do." And just
Yes. Excellent.
Mm. So yes, I mean we just kind of go wherever the wind takes us, wherever the money takes us, as the case may be.
Um, that is intriguing. I guess I'm curious, as your line of work, are you opposed to working for interesting individuals at times
I
interesting.
mean,
and circumstances?
Brynn would kind of smile and she would say, "Are you implying that Lido is not interesting?"
Oh,
I'm
by
sure
all
he would hate to hear
means,
that.
he is very interesting. I'm talking more of the socially questionable individuals that society thinks is corrupt. Are you generally, do you have a line that you don't cross?
Yes.
Clearly. Excellent.
And Brynn has kind of nestled into this conversation, but then all of a sudden it's almost like she's kind of reeling back a little bit.
And you're getting the sense of like he's trying to determine, is this a group that he could potentially hire you in the future or not, or where
Yeah.
your line is. And after
And
that
Brynn-
comment, yeah,
Brynn kind of sits back and crosses her arms and it's like, there is a line. It depends on just how corrupt and just how interesting, I suppose.
oh, that is always good to know. One's purpose, one's lines are always important. Crossing them is, you shouldn't under unless extreme circumstances. I formally believe. That is good to know. I hope I want to pay my gratitude for your adventures here under protection. Would it be available to provide you with some, once we're done here, a sizable donation to your group's fund?
That would be most welcome. Thank you.
Invitation possibly too. Lido's commenting about, as mentioned something, so I just
Brynn
like
has this thing in the back of her head, like everything's fine. Glastoc is watching, and then she remembers he's not anymore. He left the room. Brynn would kind of like would nod and just kind of be agreeable to this, and then she would sort of say like, she would get a little closer and be like, "Just so you're aware, my line might be slightly different than that of my groups. So
and
if
I
there's
was
anything you need for just one person."
oh, good to know. Again, nothing. It's always good to know where individuals and groups stand, and by all means, I don't want to do anything to change those or prevent you from, feeling awkward crossing those lines. By all means, I believe that you accept those lines, and by all means, stay within those. Thank you so much for indulging me with your time and presence in the conversation. This has been so enlightening and enjoyable. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes, look us up about that donation. It would be very helpful.
Lovely. There's just but one more request I have.
Brynn is like halfway out of her seat, and then she kind of like nestles back down.
I just simply ask that you don't go into my room again.
Oh!
It's just privacy and all.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Uh,
Enjoy your evening and day.
And Brynn hustles out of the room. Shit. Wow. Talk about a deer in the headlights moment.
Yeah, and we thought we got away with it.
I got like nat 20s in that encounter. Oh my god.
You got an
Okay.
at 20, all right, getting in, and
Get it?
and
Yeah,
you
but
saw
they're-
someone there.
Oh
You weren't
yeah.
invisible, were you?
Oh. And I almost stole something. So something was like off filter just a little bit. That's sneaky. Okay.
But here's the other thing: you stepped foot into his room.
Oh. And he had the carpet all vacuumed up nice, and so I left a footprint, I'm sure. Obviously. Okay.
Or a scent.
Oh. Okay, great. So Brynn would just go and it's evening, right?
Yeah, it's evening.
Is this still my night to sleep?
Yes.
Yes.
So it's
Okay.
still evening 4. Okay.
So Brynn would go and
Okay.
go to sleep. And she sleeps well because she
Okay.
like worked hard for the day and yeah.
Now,
Well, I
Brynn,
guess the role
when
determines, but
you checked the room out, it was evening, wasn't it? Because he was up top, right?
correct.
Okay. Um. Okay. Got it. Looking at something else. So, Aviro and Glastoc, I need perception checks, please.
Hmm. Shit. 30.
18.
Okay, sorry. Aviro, what? 18?
18.
Glastoc,
30.
30. Okay. And Aviro,
Wow, I'm on fire. I've rolled 19 twice so far today.
Nice.
Hot dog.
So, Aviro, your time on deck is from what, 8 p.m. to like midnight?
2. 8
2
p.m. to
a.m.?
2 because they're 6
Okay.
hour
6
6 hour
hours.
shifts.
And then from 2 a.m. to
8 a.m.
8 a.m. is
is
Glastoc.
Glastoc.
Okay.
Yeah.
During the evening, like I said, it's going well. First mate, Lido, the crew's kind of there. It goes without incident, Avero. Like I said, it's just a quiet night. It's not storming anymore, but it's cloudy. And it's a little bit on the foggy side. But it's, like I said, goes without any incident or issues or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Glastoc, during the evening, it's very, very similar. The evening goes without you two meet, you talk. Avero goes down, Glastoc, you're on board. Again, the evening goes without incident. There's a little bit of fog that kind of surrounds the ship a little bit which may or may not. You seem, Glastoc, you're seeming a little on edge with this fog. It's
Mhm.
not, doesn't necessarily feel natural.
Mhm.
And in the evening towards the morning, the gentleman does come out and kind of looks around, and you see him just take this, breath almost, but not really. He's just kind of like, and then the fog seems to like increase slightly, and then just kind of come down, and then as you kind of watch him, you kind of hear and you notice where he's walking. He doesn't go to his room. He goes to the cargo hold,
Okay.
and you just notice that he goes to the cargo hold instead of his room right before dawn.
Okay. All right. I just,
Yeah.
I'm going to act like I'm not paying attention, but I'm paying attention.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
Because you kind of
and
overhear.
since I have dark vision.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And you're hearing, like, normally what you hear is like the door to the cargo open up.
Mhm.
And that's what you notice, why you because you're on deck above the cargo hold. And instead of like where the rooms would be, the doors, like where he walks down, where you would think like it's almost as if you determined that he went into the cargo hold instead of his room.
Okay. And he doesn't come out of it.
No, he does not.
Okay. All right.
So the morning comes, and again, it's gray. The sun is starting to come a little bit more. You see in the distance, it's probably going to be the rain has stopped, so the rain clouds have passed. But the ship does have a little bit of a fog around it in the morning. so it's quite foggy as it's kind of continuing to go. Like straight ahead, it seems to be still relatively good to see, but around the sides and stuff like that, there seems to be this fog in the morning.
Okay. So it because of the loss of crew members, is it noticeable that things are not getting done as efficiently?
Surprisingly, no. It's still pretty efficient that things are getting done, even though with the amount, because like I said, with the amount of crew, there seems to be they're not as tired. They seem to be able to keep up the slack, and it could be that there was a little bit of extra amount of crew to be able to do what it needed to be done.
Okay. So as dawn breaks, Glastoc's going to go towards the cargo hold.
Okay.
And now we've not been told to stay out of the cargo hold, correct?
That is correct. You have you have free reign on the ship except for rooms. So
okay. So if going down into the cargo hold, is there anything off?
So as you get down to the cargo hold, surprisingly, the doors they're not locked, but like I said, you hear it's a big heavy door. You kind of push it open, and the cargo hold is pretty full. There's a lot of larger crates. You can see different shapes of crates. There's like your normal standard boxes, of wooden crates. There's a
Coffins,
metal. There's
like you do.
There's no identifying coffin, but there is a large crate, roughly about 8 feet wide by about 4 feet. Or to be 4 feet wide and about 8 feet long. And it is big crate that's just kind of sitting in one of the corners of it with nothing on top.
Around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's some stuff kind
it's
of
marked
around
private property.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Of course it is.
It says Stark Industries on it.
Yeah.
Stark Corporation.
Yeah. Is there only one door in and out of the cargo hold?
Surprisingly, no. There is actually a few.
Okay.
So looking at roll 20, you notice that there's like 4 doors. There's one that's kind of by the front bow. There's one towards the aft, and then there's 2 that go in towards where the cabin crew is, or the cabins are. Excuse me. Number 3 on the map is
So it's possible he could have walked down there and then gone through. Well,
it's very possible he could have gone through any of the doors if you
any of the doors, and then gone back to his room and stuff. So
yeah.
Okay. Or he could just turn into
mist
and floated in there and stuff. Of course, I don't know how much our characters actually know about vampires and stuff, but
that would be a recall knowledge check.
Yeah, I'm not gonna even try.
Brynn has the understanding of vampires that like a 6-year-old in our world would have of vampires. Like they suck your blood.
Yeah, that's
it.
Bite your neck, suck your blood. That's it.
Yep.
Okay. So it doesn't look like any of the boxes have been disturbed in any way, or
not really. No.
Okay.
Do give me a perception check though.
See, this is when I'm going to roll shitty. Watch, I've been rolling all these 19s. I got an 18.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, there's some broken furniture. Some of the stuff that's been, from the night before has been put in here and stuff like that.
Okay.
There's a blood stain on the ground, so it's very possible that someone, within the fight got in here, and there's a battle with the crew members and stuff like that in here as well. So there's a lot of locations in the ship and stuff like that.
All right. Well, Glastoc will just head towards breakfast. And
the other thing is, you do see that there are in the cargo, there are windows. Like each of you have windows, and on this level there is actually windows in the
like portholes
and stuff like that. So
okay. And I don't hear anything odd.
No. You know, let's say one of the porthole windows is unlocked. It's kind of, you hear a little rattle.
Okay. I'll go over and close it.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, he'll just, I mean, since I'm already down at this level, he'd walk towards the back and the door, the one furthest to the back of the cargo hold, and then go ahead and go upstairs to go eat breakfast.
All right. Morning comes. Aviro, you waking up for breakfast as well?
Not until, so if he doesn't get off until 2 a.m.
So he's
a
not
full 8-hour
hours.
rest wouldn't be till 10.
So he's going to miss breakfast.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think standing operating procedure with the group is whoever has the late shift, the rest of them grab something before the kitchen closes just to have ready to go for them.
So you're sleeping. And Glastoc, you're waking up. You're still awake. You're coming up off your shift. And then Brynn, you wake up and you join Glastoc for breakfast. And as you're sitting up there eating breakfast, the Boo and Belle, the alchemist, are up there eating. Your standard individual, like I said, that's kind of the standard breakfast. Everyone did really, the rest of them don't so much. Towards the end of breakfast time, Paulina, which is the bride, the married couple, kind of staggers up in the morning. Like, her hair is kind of a mess. Like, she got sleep, but she's in that, she tries to be in a nice robe that she has. And she
tries to be in a nice robe.
Listen, it's a task for her.
Yeah. She looks exhausted, but she's coming up for her breakfast. She's kind of coming up and getting her breakfast, and
as one would be.
And she's kind of looking around, and she kind of has this puzzled look on her face. And the first mate. And the first mate's kind of sitting there, and everyone's like, excuse me, first mate, excuse me. And he kind of, yes. Have you seen my husband? I haven't seen him around. Did he come up for breakfast already? He's like, no, we haven't seen him. And the first mate looks over at Brynn and Glastoc, like, have you seen her husband by chance?
Nope. I would say real quick, does Brynn would this matters? Would Brynn have heard them last night when she was trying to get some sleep?
The early part of the evening, yes.
Okay, not the late part.
Not the late part.
Okay, so Brynn would be like, "No, him,"
and she's just kind of, I fell asleep last night and I woke. He wasn't here. He wasn't in the morning. I thought he was at breakfast. Okay. And she's like, grabs her food and starts going back to her room. He's like, I'll take a look on deck then and see if he's there. And she kind of walks down, and he immediately looks at both of you. And he's like, Glastoc, you were on shift last night, right?
Yep.
Did you see anyone on deck or anything like that?
Yep.
Who did you see?
It wasn't him. And as I'm saying it, I'm looking right at Brynn, and it's like, and as he's taking a drink, he's going to say, I saw our princely friend walk down into the cargo hold.
Well, that seems to be standard.
If it helps, I didn't hear anything last night after a certain time. We have been hearing the two of them a lot,
All night
Yes.
specifically at
long.
night.
Would you mind doing a quick search for the ship for him?
Sure.
I'm gonna let Leto know of this.
I just imagined then we finished breakfast.
And
Glastoc and I. You want to go together?
and at about this time, Aviro, you're starting to wake up because it's about 10 a.m. right now. So
Okay.
it's about it's a late breakfast type situation is getting towards that end. She kind of, like I said, comes up and you're just waking up, Aviro. But where does Brynn and Glastoc want to go?
I'm gonna go right back into the cargo hold.
Okay.
I would go with him. Do you tell me? You said you did. Have you told me that you already investigated the cargo hold?
But at this point, I would have, yeah.
Okay. So I imagine just kind of a fresh set of eyes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you're walking through the cargo hold, give me a perception check, both of you.
15.
25.
Yeah.
So as you're kind of looking around and you're watching the cargo hold, you see that there's that one, large crate, and there's several other crates. And Glastoc, with the 25, you notice that the like I said, there's you're kind of looking around. Nothing seems to be different from what you saw earlier from the night. But as you're examining it a little bit more, you notice that there was a blood stain, on one of the crates. Um, and you think about it, it's red, not dark red.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. See, when it's dark, I wouldn't have been able to differentiate too much, even with the dark vision, because I only see things as black and white. How fresh is it?
Give me a medicine check.
Turns just overlooking and be like,
I'm good
I
at
think
this.
this porthole's open.
Brynn?
24.
Yeah.
24. It's within probably within the last 12 hours.
So way after the combat.
After the combat. Yes. Okay. Brynn, as you go to the portholes and you're looking, there's a blood stain on the porthole.
Glastoc.
And it's
Can I make a medicine check to see
that
if
just as fresh?
Justice, well,
18.
Just as fresh.
Jay, how big are the portholes?
They're,
not big enough for someone to crawl through?
Potentially, if they are good enough.
Also, if they are mist.
Also, if they're bleeding mist.
They wouldn't crawl through it. They'd float through it.
They would.
They would translocate.
Brynn is kind of like trying to get Glastoc's attention. It's like, Glastoc, I think I found some blood.
Yeah, so did I.
Oh.
So there is obviously some type of struggle. Yes.
Yeah. And the thing is, there's also what you find is that you saw the fresh red blood within 12 hours, but there is also like in by the door, there is a blackened blood stain from from the battle. So there is a little bit of blood in here, but some of it's been, cleaned up a little bit.
Right. But this obviously wasn't.
No.
Yeah. Looks fresh. Well, I would go over to Glastoc and I'd say right on the foothold. Something crawled out.
Or was thrown out.
Dragged something.
Jay, does it look like something was like dragged or moved, or like is there any kind of a track that it goes from like this point to that point?
Not that you can tell, but it is a strong possibility.
Okay.
It's not out of the realm, but there's no direct, like, point A, point B situation.
Right.
Said you saw that prince come.
Yeah, the middle of the night, and it was kind of weird. The fog seemed to change when he came out on deck, and then he just walked towards the cargo hold. I didn't hear anything out of the ordinary, and I walked through here once after the sun came up, but
well, if he killed somebody, you would have heard it. You would have heard it, right?
well, you would think so.
Must
but
be.
I mean, I'm not an expert at dealing with vampires, so I don't know.
I look at this crate that is.
We're probably both looking at it.
Yeah, you're both looking at this crate.
As we're trying to convince ourselves that it could be something else, I imagine like we both just kind of turn and like.
And
right.
is it marked "Do not touch" or private property?
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
Okay.
Fragile. Brynn would like kind of shrug and be like, "We're gonna get in trouble." And she would reach back. I imagine, is there like a crowbar or any kind of
No.
thing hanging on the wall?
No. We're not opening anything. No.
Brynn, I'm not in Glastoc. I'm not going to make you roll, but you do see on this crate, as you kind of look, there are some nail holes that are kind of in the top of it. But you do see small holes.
Air holes?
Potentially holes that are like on the ends of the corners of the box.
Doc?
This is the problem.
Imagine Dad be like, "Listen."
Look, we already got busted once for going into his room.
But we're here to protect the ship.
Right.
If he's killing people.
Okay. But we need to let Leto know what we're suspecting. Because let's be honest, the two of us by ourselves are not going to be able to take on a vampire lord.
Correct.
Okay. So we need some backup.
Yes.
Right. So let's go let Leto know what we know.
Ideal.
Okay.
And Brynn would hang up the crowbar and just I am more than happy to play Tattletale. I also don't want to fuck with the vampire prince.
Right.
So
okay.
Yeah. I would we gonna we have suspicions.
So as you are
again, I'm playing this like Glastoc doesn't know everything that Jim knows about vampires. So.
Yes.
Right.
Player knowledge versus character knowledge.
Right.
Gotta love it.
Tough.
So you find Leto in his cabin looking at some paper. You knock on his door and you're informed that, he's awake, and, you knock on the door and you hear this. Yes. Come, please. Please come in. Come in. Brynn.
We think the vampire prince is killing people.
Hello, Brynn and Glastoc. Come on in. And you hear like several of the crew members just heads go.
Brynn, your inner Aviro has come out.
Come in, sit down.
I can see just as we're walking up to the door. Okay, we got to play this cool.
Please sit down. Start from the beginning, please.
Well, So the one Alina came up this morning and couldn't find her husband. I
Yes.
happened to notice that they weren't quite as boisterous as they usually are last night, and Glastoc saw our princely friend going down into the cargo hold.
Okay.
So this morning, the first mate asked us to check everything out, see if we could find her husband
Mhm.
or any evidence. Fresh blood in the cargo hold, and
In 2 different spots.
in 2 different spots. And it
Okay.
really, really seems like the vampire probably killed him. We still can't find him, but we found fresh blood.
Oh, that's the clarification. You haven't found him. Have you searched the entire ship yet?
No, but we thought
No,
it would be
this
prudent to
felt
let you know what we
urgent.
found. Yes.
Okay. Excellent. And so what Glastoc, last night you saw him, the prince go into the cargo hold.
Correct.
So I'm understanding you found some fresh blood in the cargo hold.
Correct. One of the locations was at one of the portholes.
That's good to know. Interesting. Hmm. This is concerning, of course. Losing a guest is not good. Although, like I said, each of them have uh, uh contractually agreed to no issues of
Contracts can be broken.
yes. But so far all we have is a bloodstain and an individual in the same room. It's
2 bloodstains.
circumstantial. Um, 2 bloodstains. And it's circumstantial by any means, but definitely concerning. Um, Interesting. But you didn't hear any ruckus or see anything, correct? Okay.
Oh, no ruckus.
And we haven't been able. I'm still getting some information about the ship being searched, and I'm hoping that within the hour we'll be able to finish the entire ship. Well, this is very concerning. I have yet. I do need to speak with the gentleman um about this matter. He might be able to shed some light or dark in this incident. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but
No, I wouldn't talk to him right away, though, either. Here's the thing, Lido, if a person's going to break a contract, is exactly that kind of person.
well,
He thinks he's above rules. I've known
I mean,
many men like him.
I, he is a lord, though. I mean, not a lord. He is a prince, though. So rules are very um important for him on these. So
Tell
he's
you what,
sailed with me before, and I've never had an incident.
okay, okay.
Wait,
Tell you
wait,
what,
wait. How long was the journey the last time he sailed with you?
Oh, a week maybe.
So a shorter journey?
Possibly,
This one's a week and a half, right?
but 9 days will be 9 days.
tell you what, Lido, do us this courtesy. We've done good work for you.
But yes,
Give Glastock and I a little bit more time. If we see anything else. Maybe this whole thing, we're just blowing it out of proportion, and gods know that
but
And then
the gentleman
one
probably
more
needs a break.
stupid question.
yes.
Who supplies his food? Does he supply his own, or is the ship
Yes.
supplying it?
No, he supplies his own.
Even in his past voyages?
Yes.
And you've never questioned that?
It's part of the
Arrangement.
exactly arrangement. As his voice kind of like comes to him out of thin air. Yes, arrangement.
Ah, that boy. Give us a little bit more time.
Please continue
look
a search
around.
because who knows if it might be we are diligently searching for him, and I plan on speaking to our guest bride personally too. So yes, keep searching, see what else you can find.
All right. So when we excuse ourselves from his room,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
And
Glastoc's gonna.
before you leave, he's like, but if he did, he will feel the full consequences of his actions.
Okay. Glastoc's gonna, when we get out of the room, Glastoc's gonna suggest to Brynn that she go down to the cruise area because she's already spent time down there, so she knows what that area is like. Glastoc's gonna go and wake up Aviro to find out if he has any kind of a locating spell to maybe find this guy.
Okay.
And Brynn, before she would nod, and before she would go, she'd be like, "If you're going to tell Aviro, be sure to he's a little fragile, and he might be afraid if you tell him there's a murderous vampire on board."
Oh no. Trust me, that's the last thing I'm gonna tell him. Just gonna say that he can't be found.
Perfect.
And just leave it at that.
Great. And Brynn would nod and go below decks.
All right, so Brynn, you're going to Glastoc. As you get to the cabin, Aviro's just starting to get his wake up and getting his clothes on, and just finished getting everything ready.
Perfect.
His eyes are half lidded. And
yeah, it's Aviro. We have a slight issue. We need to find the groom for the married couple. He seems to have disappeared.
Why?
Why do we have to find him?
Yeah,
because nobody knows where he is.
So why is that our problem?
Well, because we're in charge of the ship and making sure everybody stays safe. And so Brynn and I are scouring the ship as best we can. But I wanted to know, do you have a spell that you could maybe help locate him?
No. Why would I have a spell that could locate him? That's
because you're Aviro, and that's the kind of thing Aviro does.
I'm not a searcher. I'm a researcher.
Right. Well, research his location and see what you can come up with, and then he's going to walk out of the room.
All right.
So, research.
Oh, by the way,
yes.
the hag wants to talk to you again, and then closes the door.
That wakes him up instantly.
Where does Glastoc go from here?
He's going to go back in the cargo hold.
Okay. All right. We'll pick that up in a second. Brynn, Brynn,
yes.
Where did you end up going after you left
going
Lidos?
Down to the crew quarters.
What are you doing down there?
Looking for blood and stuff.
Okay. So
and other signs.
As you're kind of looking around, you do see that the crew is since it's the day, there's only a few individuals sleeping in the bunks, and it's like a full-on bunk. And as you're looking, give me a perception check. But as you're kind of looking around, these creatures are sleeping. And you're noticing that,
which is odd if they're skeletons and zombies, but that's okay.
It's
they go through the whole.
They go through.
They're regenerating.
Yes, they're in that.
They're Borg. They're Borg in their alcoves. They're regenerating.
This is futile. I got a 30.
You're looking around. There's no blood or anything like that here. I mean, and you've got with that roll, you're like everything is like in its place from where you've seen it before. All the what's the word I'm looking? Hammocks and stuff like that are lined. You do notice that, like I said, there's definitely, if someone was sneaking around here, you can sneak because they're really not, like, they're not responding to you at all because there seems to be a programmable. But yeah, there's nothing out of the ordinary down here.
Okay, so kind of realizing there's nothing out of the ordinary down here, Brynn would just kind of, this search has gone quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So she would kind of come back by way of like all of our quarters, specifically the vampire dude, and he would come back by that way and kind of be just kind of looking kind of passively all that time as well for any other signs.
Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary. Anything you hear, conversations and normal, movement from the cabin, from the alchemists and Boo. The madam is in her room. You can, there's some movement and stuff like that. You can basically, as you're listening. Uh, Fema or Phalamia, the bride, is in her room. There seems to be a little bit more pacing going in her room that you can kind of tell.
So tell you what, so I would Brynn stops for just a second outside of the vampire's room and is like almost tempted
Hmm.
to like knock and but then doesn't. And she would actually go down to the bride's. She would knock.
What was your perception check again?
30.
There's one thing you pick up as you're walking past this room. So the
Which room?
vampire's room
Vampire
is
room? Okay.
so right before you come down. So as you're looking at roll 20, you see where Brynn, where Glastoc and Aviro's room. You see where the honeymoon couple's room, where the tokens are kind of in their rooms.
Mhm.
There's this room right at the first room
Okay.
as you're kind of coming up, and just as you pass it, you get this whiff of decay.
Oh,
Okay. That is not the vampire's room, correct?
No, it is not.
I want to go in there.
It is locked.
I want to pick the lock. Please.
Okay.
Is that thievery?
Yes, that will be thievery.
Dirty 20. If that's not enough, I'm willing to use the hero point.
That would not be enough.
ooh,
Okay.
This is
Here I
an
come.
excellent lock.
That's a 32.
So
there we go.
as you are like doing this, and it click, you're no problem. You get it open, and as the door kind of creaks open a little bit, and as you're kind of holding it not to creak it as much, this room is dark, very dark. There's no light. Everything is, and as you're kind of looking around, it is a simple, very simple room. There's a bed and a chair and a desk. There's nothing on the chair or the desk. There's like, and also a cabinet of like where some clothes are. But as you open the room, you do get a wafting smell of decay, but it's also that sickness feeling, like that smell of someone who's sick, who has not had who's not bathed in like a month. And it's just, and you see a humanoid form laying on the bed.
Okay. Okay. And there's no porthole in this room or window or any kind?
No, there is not.
Okay, I do have low light vision. Is there enough light from the hallway that once I open the door, I can kind of see what's going on?
Yes. And
Or are there torches in the hallway that I could bring in?
we're going to say there's enough light that kind of comes in, you're going to be able to see. And what you see is a female, probably half elf, dressed in just like a nightgown. Her skin is slightly pale, but it's all bumped. Like there's some sort of disease or something else that is on her. Her hair is just all matted and messed up, but you can't see her face because her back is to her. But even her nightgown is like slightly stained, but like her entire body that is exposed, that's not in it. It seems to have this um purplish and just this greenish bumps and just boils on her all over her body. The thing that you also notice is that there is a druidic symbol, like a small bowl next to her, and it's made of wood, and and there's a druidic like symbol, like a pin that's on the bed next to her. Generally a druid of a grove. This would be a symbol of a grove or something like that. Something similar that this would be a druid.
All right.
Does the woman look at all like the woman that was on the vampire's bed?
Aviro, you're not there, but that is a question that Brynn comes
Hey,
up.
Jay,
Yeah.
does that woman
No,
look at all
it
like
does
the woman
not.
that we found on the vampire's back?
Does not. Very
Team
different
sport
woman.
here.
So she's not
Okay.
she's not necessarily pale, but it's clearly she's got a disease. Like she's like, and stuff like that. And the smell is that. Brynn, can you give me a fortitude saving throw, please?
Ooh, it's
Gotta
that
get
bad.
Frickin' measles or something. Fortitude. I'm due after last time. That's
Brynn, you start you inhale and you get this little cough, like of just the stench that kind of comes in.
and that's it's making Brynn almost sick to her stomach. But this, I don't know. This we haven't seen this woman at all, right? She hasn't been
No.
like coming up for meals or anything.
No, this is a locked. Like this lock is a good, like there's an extra lock to this room.
Because Brynn knows a lot about locks.
Mm-hmm.
Do I get the idea that this woman was locked in, or is she locking it to keep people out?
Locked
or both?
in.
I would start to speak, and seeing her ears, I would speak in Elven, and I would just say, "Hey, wake up!" And I would try to wake her up.
How would you wake her up?
I would walk over and probably jostle her a little bit, and
you kind of
again
jostle
in
her,
Elvish.
and you kind of
Yeah.
we're gonna ladies and gentlemen, content warning.
That's good. Pause.
Content warning for our
Real
game
quick,
for the
so
rest of
the shot is Brynn moves, stands back aghast.
And as she kind of rolls over a little bit, she's semi-conscious. And one of the things that you notice too is that there's like a small bowl of like liquid, like she's being fed. But as you turn around, her eyes are missing. And it's almost as if they're like there's this disease or this mouths almost are in her eyes, and the boils all over her face and arms. It is very clear that she is suffering from some disease, some unknown disease. And for a second, you get the glimpse that she has a druidic, like that druidic symbol, that she has a tattoo of the Sending Stones Oak Island druid.
Oh my god. Okay.
Of Schmaltmarsh.
Oh, from Schmaltmarsh. Yeah.
Schmaltmarsh.
Okay. But does she appear to... She's not dead?
She's not dead. She's very weak.
Yet.
And the one other thing, as you gasp back, she's just like,
Brynn kind of like staggers back, and it's a small room, so Brynn like hits the wall.
And as you hit the wall, there's a jacket laying on the floor that you kind of jostle and drops on the floor. This brown, slightly burnt on the back.
Oh God.
No.
It's Talico's jacket.
Oh my god. This is a lot. Brynn would like kind of like be just taking it all in and pick this up and make this realization, and like Brynn would take this jacket. But before she goes, she kind of wants to like help this woman. She would again in Elvish, she'd be like, the Elvish language is a little stilted, so forgive me, but she'd be like, "Sister, who is keeping you in here?" Something.
She's not really responding. It's just she's overwhelmed by this disease, and just she's just there, and she's very limited conversation, like trying to figure out what.
Can I make a medicine check to see if I have any idea what this is, what this disease is? Okay. 30-20.
You don't know what the disease is, but it's definitely you're definitely that she's contracted something, and that it could be contagious.
Okay.
It's the reason why she's locked in the room.
So Brynn would assure this woman that she'll be back, and she would take this jacket. Is there anything else in the room?
Nothing.
Brynn would take this jacket and like leave and shut the door behind her, and then she would hurry and try to find Glastoc. And she does, and Brynn is like, and she has this jacket in her hand. Glastoc.
It looks like the jacket Talaco wore.
Talaco's jacket.
Yeah, Talaco's jacket from years ago.
Where did you find that?
We need to talk somewhere private.
He looks. Is there anybody else in the cargo hold?
No.
So we would go and
Aviro, you're here too, so you see Brynn.
I am. I thought I was still getting ready in my room.
No, you're done. Glastoc.
You're researching.
You're researching.
researching.
Yeah, actually, what are you researching?
He doesn't know.
Okay. So you're just gonna research in your room while Glastoc is in the cargo hold.
He's
Got
like,
it.
fine.
Okay.
He researched the guy. Hey.
Okay.
All right.
He's literally wandering around
Very
the boat, just like
broad.
looking around.
Okay. So Brynn, yeah, Glastoc, you're in the cargo hold.
There's a woman who was locked in a room next to the vampire room. She had oils all over her, and she was missing her fucking eyes. And she's sick. She's sick with something. And this jacket was lying on the floor, and she was locked in, and the lock was a son of a bitch. And she wasn't like talking or able to talk, but she was locked in there. Got a disease or something.
Aviro bursts in the door. There's a diseased woman down the hall.
Yes, that's what we were just covering.
And why is anyone going to tell me about this?
We would
I can see Aviro comes wandering out of his room and sees this door that he hasn't opened yet and opens it up. Holy
gross.
shit.
Because you locked the door again back, correct?
Yeah, I would say
you did. Oh,
probably.
okay.
Yeah, you locked it. Yeah, you locked it.
Yeah.
But you might have noticed the smell.
Yeah, you.
Yeah,
There's a little bit of
after
smell.
The door got opened. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit more of that smell. Mm-hmm.
There was a waft.
Does she look like she can be helped?
No.
You said she has no eyes. Like the disease ate her eyes away?
I think so. I don't know. No, I'm not a doctor. But she was like only half conscious, and she looked terrible, and it was right next to the vampire's room, so I thought I would check it out. Not eating her.
Okay.
Was in there. Why was this in there? And I would tell him about the mark as well, and the sending stone, and the oak island.
Okay.
And the
Yeah.
druid.
Okay.
It's very. The conclusion is she is a Oak Island Schmaltmarsh druid.
Yeah.
She is in that a coven or that group.
Yeah. The jacket we can't do anything about right now because it's obviously Palaco's not here. Otherwise we probably would have run into him by now. Hold on to the jacket. Don't share that with anybody. Take me to where this room is, and then go find Leto.
I would I would go and I would take him.
Okay, you take him to the room. There's the room.
And I assume
you run
that,
into
like,
Aviro.
because
You run into Aviro in the hallway.
Yeah.
There we go.
Glastoc, I've I cannot. I have no idea.
Glastoc's going to turn to Brynn. Take him with you. Go find Leto. Let me get into the room and let me see if there's something that I can do.
Because I picked this lock once, can I just say I kind of automatically am able to pick it again?
No, you will need to
Pattern of
pick it
spins.
again, but you will have an advantage on this roll.
Okay.
Without using a hero point, because we meld things together. And actually,
All
the
right.
DC is going to be lower, I should say.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. There we go. So 31.
Yeah, you can pick it again. You know this lock well. You can pick it open again.
Okay.
I do, and I'd be like, be careful. I think he can take where it is.
Okay, so Glastoc will open the door,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't want Aviro getting close because the last thing we want is Aviro freaking out if it's as bad as Brynn says it is.
I would.
Well, they're
I
probably
would,
going the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would pretty immediately bring Aviro.
Just as you're opening the door,
Hmm.
the alchemist steps out of their door, and they kind of look back down a little bit, and Boo and her kind of look over, and they start walking up to the deck for the day.
So they're not coming this way.
No, they're going the other way.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So when we open the door, I'm assuming I get the same wave.
Yeah, the wafting smell of just decay and just that sickly smell.
Okay. I'm going to start to cast Remove Disease.
Hey.
Ooh.
You.
I need you to make a caster skill check. So roll a d20 plus your caster spell modifier.
Nat 20. 31.
Hey, wow, you're so good at being a doctor.
Wow. Wow.
I am going to screenshot this.
Dr. Glastoc.
Dr. Glastoc. Something about your angelic nature comes into play as you're starting to, do this. And Brynn and Aviro, you're off, and I do need a fortitude saving throw first.
For me?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. I'm still screenshotting because I'm so proud of myself.
Oh yeah.
I am proud of you too.
As Brynn and Aviro are walking away, why did you have to pick that room? I
don't understand what's going on.
As their voices are trailing off.
Brynn would very gently on the way explain to Aviro kind of what's happening, sparing him the more gory details, and we would just make our way to leave.
Yeah. So the total on the casting roll was 31, Jay. Okay. Just so you know. All right, now make a fortitude save.
Make a fortitude save, please.
Okay.
You still have a hero point. Don't be afraid.
Yeah, I'm gonna use it because I rolled a 2, so that or 14.
Or 14. Okay, so you got a 14. You got a 14.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, it's well. So as you're casting the spell and you get up close to, and she's just kind of and you cast disease. Now cure disease.
Remove disease.
Or remove disease.
Healing magic purges disease from a creature's body. You attempt to counteract one disease afflicting the target.
Is there any specifics? When target it fail, if that fails, it seems undetectable. Oh, that's remove presence. Duh. I was looking at. I'm trying to find remove disease.
So my actual roll was a 31.
Okay.
For that.
Yes. So you're that's important. That's good. I'm wondering does it affect magical diseases?
It doesn't say. It just says healing magic purges disease from a creature's body. Let me look through. Let me see. Let me see if there is a like a higher version of it.
Yeah, because I'm wondering if
that's a 3rd level spell.
The remove disease is a 3rd level spell?
Yeah.
Okay, which is, I mean, that's definitely a very powerful level spell. But I'm wondering, oh, that's remove curse. You want remove disease as I'm looking all this stuff up. Cast, it takes 10 minutes to cast.
Correct.
So by the time you finish, everyone will be arriving down.
Okay.
Okay, so you're attempting to counteract 1 disease. Got it. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back to the results of that in just a second. But
okay.
So as you cast the spell, the boils on her arm start to disappear.
Okay.
And the infection that she has and the lines of just this under her veins is disappearing on her body. Aviro and Brynn, you go up to Leto's cabin again. Brynn, you knock on the door. Ah, yes, come in, yes.
I try to more slightly open the door this time, but then I'd be able to,
there's a diseased woman down there.
What? Whoa. Please come in. Have a seat.
Right, we're working on that.
So,
and I would sit down and be like, woman who was locked in a room next to our princely friend. I could smell it on the way by. I got in, and she's like half dead, and she's got boils all over her, and she's missing her eyes, and it looks like she's got a disease or something. Couldn't even talk.
yes.
Vera whips his head over and says, "You didn't tell me she was missing her eyes."
It wasn't relevant until just now, and I want to concern you. I'm sorry. And he's stuck like that. You know, it's like frozen. And she would like pat him on the arm. Like, don't know if it's connected or
I
he needs
know.
help.
I beg
You
your
were
pardon.
in the room with her.
Yes, I was.
And he kind of goes over to a cabinet, undoes, pulls out. Drink this now.
I do. What does it taste like?
Awful, bitter, greeny.
Tap.
Yeah.
And Brynn like gags a couple of times, but
we really
manages
need
get
to
it done.
have a conversation about entering rooms that are locked. Yes, I know that this guest is in the room. We've been contracted to bring her to Magnamar for treatment. She is being afflicted by a very powerful magical disease and curse that is highly contagious.
Well then, sir, I believe that you and I should then have a conversation about why there's a highly infectious guest upon a board and you didn't tell your security team about it. Seems like that's a thing that should be have been brought up previously.
She is contained in her room. She does not
and you
leave.
Didn't think we should know about that?
No. You didn't need to. It was set.
Of course we need to. We need to know about every possible risk that is on your vessel. That is what you hired us for, sir.
And I would gently put my hand like on Aviro's shoulder because he's getting fired up, and I like it. But at the same time, Brynn would kind of be like, "You told us to investigate this, the other incident on board."
Yes, I didn't expect you to invade other guests' rooms at the time, but hopefully this is an isolated incident. Full disclosure, yes, this is a druid from Oak Island in Schmaltmarsh. We are taking her to Magnamar to visit some experts on the a medical team and magical healing. to be able to do it. It is an unusual curse, something that's hasn't been around for a long time. Um, I hopefully you were the only one that went in there, correct? Did you lock it up after you left?
Did
Well, no,
Glastoc is in
Glastoc's
there.
in there right now.
Glastoc's in there trying to help.
He goes over to the case, grabs something, and just starts walking out. Come on.
Wait. And
he
I
starts.
would actually, I put my hand on Lito's shoulder.
What?
What about this? And she would hold up the jacket.
What about the jacket? What is it?
Belonged to a friend that we knew from the before times, and it was in that room with her, and it was the only other thing in the room with her.
Clearly, it's
I
hers.
say that's that druid's jacket from. Oh.
Oh.
All the gears are turning. It's hers.
It's hers. Clearly, anything in that room is hers. I don't know whose jacket that is. I'm not privy to that information. I was hired to bring her and escort her to Magnamar. She is a guest that is quarantined in her room. She is fed daily. We have agreements that are set. She is not rampant to cause anything. She's specifically left in that room. Now that you've entered that room, I am sorry to say you potentially have caused a quarantine and everything.
Which I would state again that if you had been forthwith with us from the beginning, this incident would not have developed in the way that it has.
Compartmentalizing. May we go down to the room?
Yes.
Let's just go. And as you proceed, yes.
Go ahead. I was going to say, as we're heading down there, I'd be like, Lito, you know the kind of person I am. Do you think I would see a locked room and just be like, well, I guess I shouldn't go in?
I thought you would at least agree to the rules in a way that would...
We haven't hurt anybody. We haven't broken the rules. There's only
We
one,
also
remember?
thought, you did not tell us that there was a guest in that room. Therefore, we did not enter a guest's room that was of our knowledge.
I thought it was storage.
Would you please, in the future, not open anything else up on board that is locked?
May we ask permission? May we ask permission? If you are hiring us to be an investigator,
then come to me first. I'm the captain of the ship. I know what's going on the ship. Come to me, please. Can I ask that? And as you're making your way down, he sees the door open and he stands. As they come to the door, you see Glastoc. The energy. What is Glastoc's energy? What does that magical look like?
Yeah, it's just a bright white glow.
As we're coming down the hallway, you just see like,
yeah,
from that room,
I mean,
like
exactly
nuclear light just emanating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, this is all new to him. Well, new to him. So
old to him, but it's new to Jim.
And the lights, it subsides slightly as Lito and Brynn and Aviro kind of stand in the room, and then the light subsides, and you see
Aviro's not in the room.
Okay, you see the veins that her bloodstreams that were darkened by this disease start to retract a little bit. On her arms, the boils, and the faces on her boils. Her eyes don't change. They kind of still the same, but it's definitely that this disease is starting to whisk away. And Lito comes in and he's like, what?
So good.
What? Wait a minute.
Incredible.
Glastoc, what are you doing? What have you done?
And as Glastoc, it kind of finishes, and he lifts up. I think maybe for the first time you guys notice he has these bright white gloves that never seem to get dirty, even when he's handling blood and stuff. And he kind of tightens them around his hand and looks at Lito and goes, I need a drink, and then just walks out of the room.
And Lito goes to the woman and starts looking at her, and suddenly this expression of like, wait a minute, the boils. And he's just examining her of like, she looks mostly healed. Like it's not completely gone, but definitely there is some.
I would yoink the bottle from Lido and be like, Glastoc, wait. I would want to make sure Glastoc is not infected.
Did Aviro see Glastoc cast this spell?
The remnants of it, yes.
The remnants
Yeah,
of it.
either the very beginning or the very end of it.
Yeah.
Probably both. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. I would like to identify that spell, please. And I
Recall
have quick
knowledge.
identifications.
Yeah, no problem.
I have the qualification.
You know what? Just don't even roll
He's
it.
researching.
Yeah, he's research. It's a remove disease spell.
It's remove disease. Yeah.
Nice.
It's not arcane.
It's not arcane, divine.
Right.
It's a divine,
It's divine.
spell.
It's divine magic.
Oh, does that matter?
No,
Not
I don't know.
necessarily. No. You recall that it's a divine magic, and it's the spell. I mean, there's arcane nature of the same spell, I believe. No, it's only divine. But it's you've identified that it's a divine remove disease spell. And Glastoc, you're fairly certain that you were able to remove most of the disease, or at least that disease. There could be a curse element that this could come back.
Yeah. I don't do curses.
Yeah, but you know that her
yeah.
suffering, her suffering, because you're pretty sure she may not survive the trip, and you probably just prolonged her life.
Oh, okay. Oh, good. So I did something good. Okay, good.
Yes.
When you said she may not survive, I'm like, I made it worse?
No. They didn't know if she was going to be able to make the trip in the state that she was at.
Now she might actually make it.
She actually will make it.
Okay.
And over the course of the next few minutes and stuff like that, you go get a drink in the dining hall.
And I just take out my Stein and just start drinking as I'm walking back to my room.
So Lido is examining her and stuff like that, and goes and eventually shuts the door. He takes the key out of his pocket, locks the door. Dining
checks
hall.
it, locks it again, checks it.
Dining hall, please.
The whole time looking at Brynn.
Yeah.
Yep. Changes the locks.
And he's just like, dining hall, please. And he walking towards the dining hall, looking for you to follow him.
Yeah.
And then all three of you
kind of very much has the posture of a kid who's been caught doing something bad.
Aviro, are you going to?
Yeah. Because are we not looking for this
Not right now.
Husband, all right.
Not right.
And as you kind of come up, you get up to the dining hall a little bit. He points at a table. He just points at the table, and then just walks over to the bar.
Is it our table?
Yeah, it's your table. He points to the bar. He goes behind, grabs a big bottle, grabs 4 glasses, goes over to the table, sets the glasses down, sets a good bottle of whiskey.
Nice. Awesome.
Pops it.
The infection out of our
and he's
system.
kind of looking at you like it's this pissed off, but not sure what to do because you did something good.
Right.
And he's just quiet, which is unusual for Lido. And he sits,
that's
he's just quiet, like he's processing on what he's wanting to say. And he's pouring all the glasses, and he slides the glasses, and the glasses like literally slide perfectly right in front of each other. Like this is just pours and slides. So each of you have these glasses that perfectly stop, and he just grabs his and he looks at you and goes, and looks at Glastoc for a second. Well then. Thank you. I believe you just saved that woman's life. We weren't sure if she was going to make it. Based off of your spell and you may have cured her and or suppressed her affliction.
I very slowly, like I'm trying to go so slowly so as not to draw attention, slide Glastoc this little vial that Lido had that made her take. And he's like,
I ask that you don't visit her anymore. I've been charged personally. I've been tending to her personally. making sure, because I have an immunity been given to this thing. And as he's looking at the vial, as Glastoc sets it back down after drinking it.
Well, he opens it, smells it.
Yeah.
Does it smell like crap?
Yeah, it does.
And he pours it into the whiskey.
Yeah.
Mixes it with his finger.
And he's kind of looking at it going,
Glastoc, that might change the medicinal properties. You don't know.
Yep.
All go into the same place.
That's
I'm an alchemist. It's okay.
Thank you, Brynn, for your investigative nature. I ask that from now on that you come to me first with any questions, insight. What's the word I'm looking for here? And Leto is stumped on trying to find the right words of like inquiries.
Brynn knows it's serious.
Yeah.
Because he always seems like he knows like the thing to say. And for a guy like him to not know what to say, it's like, we fucked up.
Yes, Aviro.
I'm coming to you with a question.
Let me finish momentarily, and I will be glad to answer your question. In the future, I would ask that you don't invade the guests' rooms or other things that are not your property. You've put me in a very bind. There's a specific contract or security protocols of the guests that they adhere to. They don't go into other rooms. Guests, they don't hurt each other, things of that nature. You've put me in a very...
We know that, Leto.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure at some point Aviro has expressed his opinion on what we should know as your quote unquote security team. So the only question I have is there anything else weird that we should know about?
Everything on this ship is weird.
That was my question.
Everything on this ship is weird.
I just ask that you don't go into, hopefully this is an isolated incident, that you don't open any, this is the only thing you've opened up. Please don't go into any guest rooms searching, things of that nature, unless you come to me. Let me pose it to you. If you were would you like someone going into your room searching? And if you had a contract with that person that they are safe? Yes, Aviro?
I would like to reiterate, sir, that we did not know it was a guest's room at the time. If you had told us in the beginning, we would not have opened that door. This is, again, an infringement upon our resources and our duties as your security officers. Please do not level this against us. We were operating under our best intentions and the information available to us at the time.
Aviro, it suddenly dawns on you after you say that, and he says, "You're a guest, correct? Those are all guest rooms. Did the first mate share that those were the guest rooms?"
Yes.
Did you see?
And we were introduced to a specific number of guests, and therefore we were told not to go into another guest's room. We were not informed that a guest was in that room. Thus, without that information, we have to operate under the knowledge that there's nobody assigned to that room.
Is there a letter on your guest room?
Is there a what?
A letter on your guest room.
Is there a letter?
Yes, you will notice that it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Yes, that is how they are designated.
Did you see the G on that door?
Yes.
That's a guest room.
Yes, because it went A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
And the door you entered was G.
Yes. But we were not under the impression of, no one informed us in any way that it was an occupied guest room. We were told to not go into occupied guest rooms that are assigned to other guests. Exactly. You, sir, read the contract that I wrote up and signed it yourself. Just
exactly.
Lido is going to be reasonable. We made a mistake. Not like he's gonna keelhaul us or
I'm
anything.
saying both parties are at fault.
Lido, we're
We-
sorry. I'm
thank you.
sorry. Happen again.
I appreciate that. Again, come to me. I'm sure I can salvage this. Your duties has ensured that this is a positive outcome. Definitely. Brynn, I'm not gonna give me a recall. Just give me a recall knowledge, like a lore knowledge or a society knowledge. Yeah, a society and or like an insight. There's no insight. Trying to think of a good skill. Maybe even thiever, underworld or thievery. Yeah.
Okay.
Knowledge.
27.
Okay. You realize that although it may not, there is a contractual. There's definitely, you realize the position that Lido is in. That the information that all the rooms were referred as guest rooms, even though that may have been occupied, there's that gray area that Aviro is presenting as a loophole. In Lido's eyes, he may have broken the contract.
Lido has broken the contract?
Yes. Because a guest room was accessed without their permission, which breaks the contract the guest had with Lido and the shipping.
Okay. But presumably nobody else knows that the contract was broken.
Potentially, yes.
Okay.
But if the contract is broken on Lido's end, it may
damages the reputation.
Damage the reputation.
Yeah.
As well as any contract that was made by any guest may have been voided.
I think our fucking fanged friend probably already voided the fucking contract. So, but whatever. Anyway.
So, but as Lido's like looking at you and he goes, again, Glastoc, I very much appreciate your healing. I believe you have saved that woman. In the future, please just come to me. I greatly appreciate the heads up. This is the ship, my ship, and I need to know what is going on. And just to and you have not found any remnants of the investigations on the ship. You didn't find anyone, did you? Yes, Glastoc.
Okay. No. Okay, so this is me butting in.
Yes.
So because I had gone into the hold again before the whole situation erupted.
Yep.
Is there did I find anything else?
Nope.
Nothing. Okay.
So and suddenly the cheerfulness comes back. He's like, friends, again, lessons learned. We're good. Moving forward, we can only do so much. Again, appreciated your abilities to ford off any borders and attackers. Please continue to do the job that you have, and please continue to be due diligent about your investigations. And I will be getting some information, and it looks like from the initial, the groom is not on board. We cannot find him. We are going to finish conducting the search, but I'm going to be asking all the guests to stay in the rooms for most of the rest of the voyage, except for dinner, and more or less.
Does that include us?
Not necessarily.
We're not guests.
We're not guests. Well, you are a guest and an employee, so I will need you to do both. Be on the ship to look. So,
I knew that was going to make Vero mad. That's why.
But anyways,
it was very literal.
Are we good? Are we good?
You tell us.
Yes.
This Glastoc stands up, takes his stein, looks Lido in the face, and goes, "Am I good?"
Yes, very much so. Very much so.
And he basically is like, "Did you see what I did?" and turns around and walks away.
And
Wow. You are good. You're
and
the
as
best.
the afternoon, as you leave and Leto leaves back to his cabin, the sunlight on the ship continues and the camera pans as the cloudy day, and the ship of activity. And that is where we're going to end today's episode.
Yay!
Thank you
Good
everyone
job.
for joining us. We will see you very soon, but please let's go around the horn. Where can we find you, or what's going on? And we're going to start with you, Jeff.
I'm Jeff. This has been a grand time as always, and I'm nowhere else.
Thank you, Jeff. Brynn, how are you?
I am doing great. You can find me on Mini Terrain Domain. I play on Monday nights. We play Scribes and Scrolls, which is a 2E campaign now as well. That's always fun. You can find me on second Wednesday of every month. I'm also there playing Mythos Investigators, which is Call of Cthulhu. And Thursday nights there, you can find me playing Kids on Bikes, which is going to be great. Upcoming on Dice on Ice, I have a game, a 3-shot with the lovely M. Davies,
Very cool.
Jake, and myself. We're going to be playing also Call of Cthulhu. And then, yeah, I'm also on Dice Tales Live, ironically, right when this airs. So I'm in two places at once. Pulling off the grand charades. So yep,
Awesome.
that's me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carrie. Jim, how about you? How are you doing?
Good. So yeah, Jim, Hawkmere1 on Twitter. Find me here playing with these wonderful folks. Whatever day this is going to be airing.
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays, yes.
Wednesdays.
And then on the weekends, here on the Emporium of the Wayward Gamer, I play Clicky, the Gunslinger Jawa, in our Shadowport Adventures game.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm Jay, also known as Neopet3 in the socials. Lots of stuff's going on with the channel. By the if this is pre May the 4th, which probably coming right around that time, or just past, check us out on all our VODs, our Twitter, our Twitch, all that stuff for all of our channels and shows that we have. We've got a lot of stuff coming. We've got a pirate campaign and Pathfinder coming up too, and then convention. So find us there, find us everywhere. And thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you again. Take care and have a good night. And last but not least, please be kind. Don't be a jerk.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.